Hi everyone, welcome back to another video in my series for Cool Cats Craft and my Morgana project. So this is the latest project in my Arthurian range for Cool Cats, working with Kay and Maggie. And we've already got the Arthur folio, the Merlin album. We've got the Guinevere, which is the companion one to this one, which is the rectangular version with the aperture. And this time we've got this big 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 square one with an aperture. So in this kit, you get some nice thick grey board already cut for you. And there is a full tutorial for this. And in Paper Crafting Paul and through the Cool Cats, you can also get this, which is a step-by-step on how to make the pages to go in. So the pages have been designed to be quite simple, but then that you can add your own little bits to them. So today, I'm going to show you how to decorate one again. So there is a step-by-step, one page by one page, how to construct it and decorate it. And I did make them with graphic 45 8x8 pads in mind. But I thought, because I did this one, to check my measurements before doing the filming, I do have this spare one. I thought I'd show you if we can cover it using Stamperia paper. So I've got the 8x8 pad and I've gone for Songs of the Sea. And then I've got the matching background paper as well. And so yeah, just one each of the 8x8s, and the background paper just helps extend this pad further. So what I'm going to do is show you how I would then look at these two pads and decorate a Morgana. So the first thing I did was I just did a little diagram for each of the pages, and then I took my two pads and I just look at the back to start with, and I see which ones might have a matching sort of paper to go with it. So we've got this portal with wooden effect, and then there's another page of wood effect on this side. And then we had this one, which has some script through it. So I looked to see if there was some script, but I couldn't find one. But I saw that this one sort of matched well with the colours in this one. We had the blues and the creams. So just have a look at what papers would match. And then I've just noted them. So the one with ships and scales has got a matching scales one. So let's have a look. This is the ship with scales. And then in the background pad, we've got a sheet of the scales as well. So they would work well across two pages. Now I did also, when I went shopping at Intercraft, buy the embellishment pieces, the ephemera pieces, which are like chipboard pieces. And I have misplaced them when I was moving and setting up my new craft room. So there are two different ones to go with these pads. And one of them is full of the ships and things. And one of them is full of the mermaids. Which means that these papers, you can actually go masculine or feminine with them. So I wish I still had them so I could have shown you. But as I said, I have misplaced them. So today, what I'm going to do is take these Songs of the Sea. I'm going to see if I can avoid using any of the mermaids and females. And see if I can come up with a more masculine feel to it. So let's get going. So when you get your kit for Morgana, you will have a piece of acrylic or plastic, like so. And this is to make your cover. So we're going to start off with that. And I've decided I'm going to use the wood effect from the background paper. So I'm going to grab the background paper and find, is this the wooden one? No, this is the wood effect. Here we go. And I've designed this to make the most of our 8x8 paper, but also quite effective measurements to get the most out of our papers as well. So the cover is 1 1/4 inch frame. So we're going to cut all our pieces at 1 inch. And I'm going to use a faux mitre effect to cover it as much as I can. So we've got 4 pieces, which are 8 inches by 1 inches now. And I'm just going to quickly distress the edges. But when I say distress, I mean distress ink, which is going to hide the white core. So the distress ink actually this time is tidying up our paper rather than making it distressed. Two down. And on these two, I'm just going to do the edges, the 2 long edges. We'll see why in a second. The last one. And what I'm going to do is stick 2 of these on the edges. Now I've kept the blue just for you to be able to see it. Normally I would have just taken it all off, but I think keeping that blue film just makes it easier to see. So I'm going to stick this first one. Oh, we've got 2 together here. And just trim off. I didn't realize I had 2. And just expose a little bit more of that tape. And I'm just sticking it on the edge of my acrylic and then taking it down. And I'm going to do the same with the other one. Now I've got one where I've inked the edges. Yes, that one. And we're going to stick this on the opposite side. Now, you do want a non-directional paper for this one, because 2 of them are going to go landscape and one of them's going to go portrait. So we're just going to expose some more tape here. And because non-directional, I'm just going to turn this over and I'm going to line up those 2 corners again. And peel it back. And then with these 2, I'm going to put one on the top and one at the bottom. Now, because we've got this wood, you could just stick them straight down and that would make a wooden frame. But I'm going to show you how to do the mitering. So on my Enchanted Forest one, I just cut out the middle of the paper from the Graphic 45. But on my Raining Cats and Dogs one, I've got the faux mitre. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So what I would do is take a pencil and just slide it down a little bit and mark the edge of this paper, just sort of diagonal like so. And then you can take your scissors and cut. Now, I did forget to bring a pencil, so I am using my scoring tool, which isn't the best because I'm not getting an impression. So give me a second, I'm going to go grab my pencil. All right, so this will help me a bit better. Right, now we can go for it. So I'm just going to mark where those 2 papers meet. And and take my scissors and I'm going to cut towards that corner. And then take my ink and give it a good distress there. And then I'm going to do exactly the same here. Going to mark where they meet and cut from that corner, the top corner, to that pencil line. Now you could draw a line with your ruler and things, but because we're using this faux technique, if it's a bit off, it doesn't show if it's going wobbly, because when you put it down, as long as you go from the point to your pencil mark, you'll get a nice edge. So let's add some tape to this. And I want it to go right to the edge, so I'm going to overlap the tape and I'm going to trim it off. Because we don't want that little tiny corner lifting at all. Take off one, just expose a little bit of the other one, and take it across. So you can see how we have that faux mitre giving us that nice frame. And we've got one more piece to do. So let's put it in that corner. And we're going to do a cut up that way and a cut up that way. Right, and this side. And again, I'm going to use my tape with that cut off corner just to get it to the edge on this bit. I can actually use that way. And take that off. And there we have our frame done with just half a piece of our patterned paper. So I've got the other 4 inches here. So if you wanted to do the back the same, you could. Now I'm going to take it off, turn it over and peel off that blue. So you see that blue piece really did help me see what I was doing. And now I'm going to put some tape wherever I see patterned paper. And we're going to stick this then onto our cover. Just to take all 4 of these. So this tape is the Sticky Paws by Cool Cats, which is a strong double-sided, but I don't use the red liner tape because it's just so static, it's so hard to get off. But this tape is just as strong as red liner, but you can tear it and you can get the backing off easily. So just put them away. Let's bring back our cover. And we're just going to centralize it so that we've got black around the outside and we've got black on the inside aperture as well. Take my Teflon tool and stick it down. And you can see that is our cover already done. So on this one, what I did was I actually decorated the acetate on the back and I stuck it there. This time I've got the acetate on top, so it depends which way you want to put it down. Okay, so now we're going to start moving on to page. So if you do want these, just head to Paper Crafting with Paul on Facebook and you'll find this in the file section. Or get in touch with the Cool Cats and join their Facebook page, which is just Cool Cats. And we're going to... Oh, I was looking for the album. I've just put it away. What was I going to say was the 4-inch piece I got left is going to go on my spine later on. Here we are. So we're going to have that wood going all the way around. But I'm going to wait to see what I've got left to do the back. And the same, I could use these 4-inch pieces to do this side as well. But I'm going to wait until I see what I've got left at the end. So when I went through, I had a look and I chose that wood paneling because I thought it would match well with this porto. So when you pick your page 1 paper, you need to be quite aware that it's going to be seen through this window, like so. So I do want it quite central, which means when I come to cut my page, oh, actually, I could drop it down a little bit. So I can take off a big chunk from the bottom and a bit from each side to keep it central. So let's have a look. Our pages are 7 3/4, which means we're going to need 7.5-inch pieces. So let's have a look. If I go to 7.5 and I trim that off, is the porto going to drop? Yes. So we're going to take 1/2 inch off here. Now with my Enchanted Forest and my well-groomed ones, I took, rather than half, I took 1/4 inch off each side. So I took a bit off. So we've got 8 and we want to take it down to 7.5. So I'm going to take 1/4 inch off this side and 1/4 inch off this side. So when I put that then onto page 1, it'll be in the middle. So let's have a look now. We just have on page 1 this extra large pocket. So we're just going to trim off a bit to go onto the top. So the pocket is 7 inches tall, which means I want a 6 3/4 inch to go up. So let me move it out of the way. 6 3/4. Now, and I'm going to add just a little 1/16 extra just to make that black line, which would be between the two pieces, smaller. We don't want to go much smaller because you don't want it to be seen through your cover piece. And then this is going to line the pocket. So, have a look. So that's going to go there. And then that is going to go inside. So I'm just going to use my glue. Now, normally a big piece like this, you'd probably want to add a photo mat or use your Cool Cats photo slots. But I don't do it on this one because you can see it through the cover. So, and I want to see, that's why I chose this page, is because it's got so much detail. And we'll just lift the pocket. We'll get our pattern repeating here. There we go. And then when we close it, we have that portal in the middle. And that's all it is for page 1. So we're going to move on to page 2. And so for page 2, I've decided to use the ship with scales from the main pattern. So let's use the ship. With the scales down the side. So that's the ship with scales. And then in the background selection, we've got some scales somewhere. There we go. And then we will need to pick another one to line our pocket later on, but I'll come to that later on. So let's do the left hand side first because it's nice and easy. It's a 7 3/4 page, so 7.5 by 7.5 again. We're just going to do a 7.5 square. And 7.5. And then our pocket is 6 inches, which means I'm going to do just under 6, so 6 1/4, but I'm going to go back and make it just a 1/16 bigger, just to make that black a little bit smaller. So just ink the edges. And I only need to ink the 3 here, because this bit will be tucked underneath. And again, this is a perfect place to put some slit slot dies, so your photo mat dies, but I'm just going to show you how to cover the bases today. So I'm not going to show you closures and things. I've got my closures videos for that. And in the main tutorial, I will show you all this bit, but this is just showing you how you can cover it using your Stamperia as opposed to the Graphic 45, which I did in the other tutorial. And you'll see now the pattern will continue with that tiny little bit of black there showing. So just going back that one, adding an extra 1/16 onto this just gave me a smaller piece there. And this time we're going to have to think carefully about how we're going to put these together and which strip to cut first, because we're going to cover this all with one piece. So if I bring the page 3 guide in, you will see there's a long piece and 2 smaller pieces. Right, so again, first job is 7 3/4. And I don't want to take it off here because I'm going to lose the sentiment. So I'm going to take it off the bottom. So a page is 7 3/4, so I'm going to cut this at 7.5. Just double check. Always better to check, even though I know, yes, it is 7.5. Measure twice, cut once. And how much of that am I going to lose? Not too much. So this time, oh, I don't ink it yet. I'm going to do the long one first. So it is 4 1/4, which means I'm going to cut a 4-inch strip from the left hand side. And then a bottom pocket is 3 1/4, so I'm going to cut 3. Or I can go a little late, which I forgot to do with the other one. But it's like a jigsaw then. You can get a nice image piece of paper and it will jigsaw together like so. So I made this pocket 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, which means you can put a 3 by 4 photo there, or if you've got one of the journal cards from the paper or something, it can go there as well. So I'll tuck in. And this one, we're going to see the 3 sides. Okay. So I'm going to start with this bottom pocket first. And then tuck this one in. Ooh. So you got that pattern continuation coming down. Try and get that coin nicely lined up down here. There we go. That's nice. And then this one will finish it off here. But of course, if you didn't want the images, you could use the back, and you've got all these scales. So most of the image papers have got a background to match on the back as well. So there we go. And then, so we just need some 2 little offcuts for that. So we could use, let's look, I did say I'd use the coral and water one. So I think it must be that one. Then we've got the tags. Do I want to cut the tags? Let's have a look how big this is. So this is 2 inches. So I'm not going to get 4 inches. Ah, yes, so I'll still be able to have 4 of the tags and 1 of these. Or is there another? Coral and water. No, it must have been this one I had in mind. Let's go for it. So I'm going to have a think first which 4 I want to keep. So let's cut it in half. And I think these are the more masculine ones, except for that mermaid. So I'm going to cut this one up. So it's 7.5 by 2. In fact, am I going to be using that? If I'm not, I may, yes, I'm going to cut this one in half as well, so that I can have those 2 masculine ones and use these ones with the mermaids on the back. So if you were making a more feminine one, you would probably cut these tags up and use these 2 for the flaps. So these will go on the front. Oh, did I cut? I only cut one of them, didn't I? Because I'd already cut that one. Let's cut the other one then. 7.5. And this time I've corner rounded there, so I'm going to I used the big one for the flap, so I'm going to use the medium for, so I want that one. The medium corner for the front. Now, I'm not going to be doing the closures here, but if you go to my playlists, you will find an album specifically for closures using Graphic 45's Farmhouse collection. And if you go there, you can choose a closure. So for this one, I would use a swivel closure or magnets, or you could even do a corset one, which would look really nice. So if you haven't seen my corset closures, it is well worth looking at. And in fact, what I'll do, I'll add links to the closure videos in the description below. Okay. So this one is going to go inside here. So you can see by using that medium and large together, we've got a nice matten layer. And we've got some of all the cogs, which sort of ties in with the ship over that side. And then, as I said, I would just add a closure to there. So I use the swivel ones here. And then it opens like that. But equally, a corset closure with string would work just as nice for that. So you can see, same page layout, but a totally different feel. And then we're moving on to our catch-up page. Put my scraps to the side. And for my page 4 and 5, I'm going to use the collage papers. So I needed two which really match well because both these pages are very similar. So I'm going to use this collage. And then in this one, there was also a collage page. So they're going to go side by side nicely. So which way around should we go? That way? No, that's a nice bottom right type image. So I'm going to put that there. So again, we're going to trim them down to 7.5. So again, you could take 1/4 inch off each side if you're going to lose something you like. I'm not going to do that here. Otherwise, I'm going to cut off his head. Going to go across, and this one doesn't seem to have anything I need to avoid cutting, so we'll go just down 2 sides. And these are just 2 pocket large pockets, so we're going to cut the bottom pocket to fit here, which is going to be 3 1/4. So let me cut them at the same time, make sure they're the correct way up, which is, yep, the text is, it was right. What do we say? 3 1/4, wasn't it? 3 1/4. And then 1 1/2. Move it over to 1 1/2. So let's move these across and move these across. I'm going to have them that way round. And this page then is perfect for adding your Cool Cats clips and your wallet, your folio wallet, using the Cool Cats folio dies. There's loads of things you can add to this one. So it's a very basic page to make, but it's also a very nice one where you can take it to the next level. So when you see this finished, it'll probably have some faux paper clips and things like that on it. So on these ones, which are going to tuck inside, I'm only inking the top and the two sides. But the bottom pieces are going to be totally visible, so I'm going to do all four. So here we go. Just these 6 pieces to glue down. So again, if you wanted to add some of the strip dies and stuff to make extra tuck spots, go for it. But I'm just showing you how you can actually make one of these really quickly and how to decorate using the Stamperia to see that it is possible to decorate with just the 2 8x8 pads. Go. So there's one page, and you'll see how the pattern continues down there. And then, so always start with the one that you're not having to tuck in, because you can always line the others up to that then, and you'll have a neater finish. That one needs to be slid down a bit. See if I can get it off now. Let's just tuck it in. See if I can get it back down. There we go. And so that is our catch-up page. As you can see, it was nice, quick and easy, even though I messed it up there. It was supposed to be an easy one, and they just match nicely there. So now we're on to page 6 and 7 already. So page 6 and 7, I'm going to use the large octopus page. So it's this one. So I really wanted to use him. And from the main collection, the large ship on the right. Here we go. So that's the one. So we've got the text sort of running through the whole thing. So let's do page 7 first. 6 first. Now page 6 is a wide belly band with a pocket on it. And you can get your pattern continuation. So I could use this and cut my belly band from the middle pocket then and have it all as one piece. But I really like this octopus, and he would fit nicely in there. So for this one, I'm actually going to break the rules, and I'm going to cut, I don't know, are there rules? It's my album, no rules. I'm going to cut it at 5 inches. So here we go, 5 inches. And I want to keep him quite even, so I'm going to cut 1/4 of an inch off the top and bottom. So 1/4 of an inch there, and 1/4 inch there, and that brings me down to 7.5, which is what I need. And for this one, I'm going to try and make this little pocket bit. Normally I would just go down 1/4 inch, which would be 3.25. So there's 3.25, but I'm actually going to go up a little bit more. Have a look. 3.5 inches. Yeah, it is a 3.5 inch pocket. So I'm just going to go back to 3 5/16. This is 3.25 and a little tiny bit, just to make the pattern continuation a bit smoother. That's all it is. Oh, and whilst I'm here, this piece of paper is 3, so let's cut it at 1.5 and 1.5. And that's going to be our background bits. Okay. There's the pocket cover. And again, you know, you can add your 3x4 photo here again. So that's what I've designed it around. And then we have this piece going there. And this piece is going to go on the left. Let's have a look. Lining it up. And then this would tuck. I didn't trim these, did I? And I've glued it as well, so I'm going to have to be extra careful. Here we go. Just reapply the glue to the edge. And from this one, I actually want to keep that ship word at the top, so I'm going to trim it off the bottom. And it also stops the fish looking like it was one piece cut in half, because I do have this fish at the bottom, which would have been there. So it stops it looking like I've butchered one piece. There we go. So we have the octopus now nicely placed there, and to tie it together, I'm going to cut this down to 7.5. So it depends on where his head is going to be. If I do that, it's going to be off. So I'm cut 1/4 inch off there, and 1/4 inch off the bottom. And then 1/4 inch off this side, I think, so I don't cut off part of the text, and 1/4 because I didn't want to lose too much of the ship either. There we go. Now this one is a perfect one to do those slit pockets that the cool cats have dies for. But you also want a nice big image, because you're going to see this in its entirety. It's just one piece stuck down. So you can see how the back matched that, which is why I knew the front would be a good partner for it. go. And then I'm just going to wait and see what pieces I've got left over to cover those. But they're just going to be 7 7.5 inches by 1 1/4. So I could use the ones left over if I didn't have the tags on there. I've also got some of the wood I had left over, but I'm keeping that for the spine. So I'll have a look at what I've got at the end for that. And then the last page, page 8. And page 8, I'm going to go to the background selection and I'm going to choose the netting one. And on the back page then, to match that, is the final. I'm going to do the one which has got Mermaid Song, but I'm going to use the back of it. I'm not going to use a mermaid. So as you can see, up until now, still no feminine elements used. So still sticking to just the ships and the cogs and the industrial theme as opposed to the mermaids theme. So when I first had this pad, I thought, oh, this is going to be making a mermaidy album, which, you know, I was looking forward to doing. Actually, I'm not doing that quite yet. I've got something else I want to do first. So let's cut this down to 7.5. Again, I want that netting, so let's take 1/4 inch, otherwise the netting won't be central. And then I can take 1/2 inch off the top or bottom really with this one. It wouldn't have mattered. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, oh no I'm not, I've got something else to do first. I need to cut off this bit. So I'm going to cut it at 6. So I've got a large pocket here to tuck things in, but also these 2 triangular pockets. And I was about to measure the triangular pockets, but I don't want to do that quite yet. I want to do 6 inches. There we go. And it depends now what you've got. Now I haven't got a image sheet here, so I am going to stick those 2 in like so, and I can use a coordinating paper here. Now I have designed these to be 3.5 inches, which means I'll be able to get paper to cut and cover this from 1 sheet of my 8x8 later on. But it depends on this one. I think I may tuck it in because it's exactly the same. I've got 2 triangles, 2 triangular pockets. I'll be able to place that in, and probably on this one I'll want to bring those paper there so I can cut them off this and stick them on. So all I would do is take a pencil, draw the line, and just cut it a bit smaller. So that would work there, unless I go for, because I still need these 1.5 inches for there as well. Some waves. That would work because I can use these without a direction. So there's not many left with this one. So let's have a look at this one. So I have got that one, but I think I'm going to use that on the back to go with the wood, to keep the wood theme going all the way around. So do you know what, I'm going to take this one out and keep that for the back. Now this would be a good one because there's no direction and it brings in the blues from everywhere. So let me show you what this page looks like when it's done. Obviously on that one I've got corset closure. This one, I've used 2 different patterns, which is what I think I'm going to do here as well. I've even added a piece with the little tuck spot behind there. You can put your large photo mats in both of these as well for your 5x7 photos. So this is what I'm cutting, and these have been cut at 3 1/4 inch squares. Yeah, so I should be able to get them both out of this and still have some left over. 3 1/4 inch squares. 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Let's get more bubbles in. 3 1/4, and then I'm just going to line up those 2 corners. In my trimmer and just cut out. So this is why you don't want a directional one, because here would turn upside down. I think we're ready to glue our last pages. Oh no, we still got 2 flaps on the back to go, haven't we, and a spine. So I'm going to glue this one down because the match isn't quite as important on this one, because it's like a net. So let's tuck that one in. And this one. So I'm just going to tuck this one inside those 2 triangles and slide it in and place it down. And then the 4 triangles, as I said, non-directional, so I can put them wherever I want. Here's one. And 2. Let me just bring that over just a tiny bit, just to neaten it up. There we go. And then just got these 2 triangles here. So let me just tuck these in. And last one. Here, and a nice image paper for the back cover. And again, there's the mermaid, but we won't be using her. We're gonna use the one without the mermaid. So let's have a look. Would this be too much to go there? It's going to clash with that, isn't it? So let's look for, there we are, let's use this text. So it's actually the cover of the background selection. I'm going to cut it to 7.5, and we're going to cut, did I say 1 1/4 earlier? So the flap itself is 1.5, so yes, 1 1/4. Now, because I do have a text here, I'm going to have to be careful and remember when I'm using my corner rounder. I do 2 with the corners on the top. So that'll go there. And this was on the bottom, so it's going to go there. Then when I open it up, it needs to go on the top of this one and the bottom of this one. Now with page 7 here, what you can do before you stick this on is put a 7 3/4 square piece of thin acetate, and then it would be like a big closure and then closes on top, and the acetate would keep things in. But I'm going for just my corset closure because that'll hide everything and hold everything behind the string. It's going to be interesting to see how many bits I've got left over now at the end. Because the leftover pieces then are just going to be to do my photo mats, to do some little wallets, and of course to do closures and clips. So let's start gluing these in place. So this one is one with the corners on the top. This one is a bottom one, so we can tuck this or glue this here. We need one with the corners on the top to go here. And the last piece is this one here. So remember, if you did want to do a piece of acetate to hold your bits in, to do that before sticking, and if you wanted to put magnets, to do them before sticking the paper and these papers down. So you could just use a few magnets there to hold it down. You can tuck your things in and then the magnets will close them and hold them down. So let's have a look. We did put one piece aside. Or did I? Yes, here it is. So we've got that one, which is an 8x8 piece. And we're just going to use that as our back page. I didn't quite catch the edges here. You do want to get to the edges when it covers, because this is the bit which is going to get handled quite a bit. So let's just center that. So there was no need to trim that. So all one piece. And then our spine is 1 7/8. So I'm going to cut this at just short of 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 would be there. I'm just going to go back a tiny bit. we're just going to glue this down. Now, if you did want to add a charm or something, make sure you do that before you stick this bit down. Oh, and we have got one more piece to go, haven't we? I've still got to do this bit. So let's find out what we've got left. So we want something to match there. So I'm trying to find something which hasn't got too much going on. Or should we use the C? Let's use the C. Now, I could do my faux miters again with 4-inch strip, but because, you know what, I've got plenty left over, which I wasn't sure if I would. Oh, hang on. Oh no, they're the tags. Don't want to cut them up. Let's just show you again how we can actually use a full sheet to make the border a different way. So, as I said, my border for my cover was 1 1/4 inches. So all these strips are 1 inches. So if I start my cut at 1 inch and stop at 7, rotate, start at 1, end at 7, start at 1. Also, the edges are being lined up at 1 inch as well. And the last one, 1 inch. So this does use up a lot more of your paper. It's not quite as economical, but it is nice if you've got like a border like that. And then let's just ink through. So there, I unintentionally shown you 2 ways. I did originally plan on doing the miters, but as I said, I wasn't sure how much paper I would add left. Even though I had sort of planned it in my head and written some notes, you know, I would have changed my mind. But it's definitely nice to know you can cover a Morgana using 1 background paper pad and 1 main pad. So let's just stick this on. Just realised I've used both the cover sheets this time. And you'll see how that has lined it perfectly, and you've got that little black in it as well. And then that just sort of echoes inside there as well. So, very pleased to know that yes, you can cover a Morgana using 1 of the main pads and 1 of the background selections. And I've taken the Songs of the Sea, which lots of people thought was quite a feminine one with the mermaids. Not a mermaid in sight. Still will do closure. So when you come back and have a look through my channel, you will probably find a little walkthrough of this completed. But as I said, this was just to show you how to decorate the pages using just those 2 8x8 pads. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you have, please join my Facebook group, Papercrafting with Paul. Give this video a little thumbs up and give me a little comment below. Tell me what you think of it. And if you do want the cutting list or more information, the cutting list will be in Papercrafting with Paul. Look in the file section. Also the Cool Cats Facebook. And if you want your own Morgana kit with the frame tape and the MDF already, not MDF, the chipboard, grey board already cut for you, which is great because it's 2mm, and I would never have been able to cut a nice decent aperture like this. So it's been laser cut to precision for us. There's still places to put our photo mats and things, but as you can see, I've got plenty more. I still got these things I could cut out and stick in places. I've got journal cards to make some photo cards or something with those, or just put them in as journal spots. I've got a piece here which I'm thinking I could make one of the photo wallets. I wonder if I've got one to show you. Also here I've got a magnet, so I've got plenty. I could make a magnet closure. I've just used one of the journal cards, so use the photo cards tucked into a magnet. This is what I was talking about. This is made with one full 8x8 sheet, and it's designed to hold 3x4 photos. So have a look in the tutorial for that one, and it's perfect for tucking in here. So I'll probably add another corset closure to this, to my sea one, my Songs of the Sea. Again, place I can put the photo cards. So make sure, if you want to see what this turns out like, all finished, have a look at the walkthrough video. So thank you for watching. Check all the links below. Give me the thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you all again soon.